Estás en vivo. Good
We are
morning.
live.
Good morning, everyone.
Janet, good morning. Yes, okay, why not,
Good
right?
morning. Or maybe it's good afternoon
Or good evening.
or good evening.
Yes, any, however it is, we're
And
here.
we are here
We are in the present moment. Let's say that.
totally in the present moment. How is everyone? Come and join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So
Yes,
excited to have you all here with us. I am Janet Altagracia
and I
with
am Maya Dari del Sol.
and we're here to continue talking about all these juicy topics about the book.
Alchemy for the soul.
And we welcome you to your date with your soul.
Yes, dating with your soul.
Yes.
Yes. And Janet, I guess you will be talking more than me today because I'm short. Like my voice is, I'm working on
Scratchy.
it. Yes,
Scratchy,
but
little
a
scratchy.
little bit. But yeah. So we will make the best. Anyways, we are here because
Yes.
we have a commitment with you. And so that's why we are here, no matter what. We will be here every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, until who knows if we're not here in this plane, we won't be able to make it. But
We'll
if
see you in the
yes,
next reality.
but if it doesn't happen, well, we will be here because that's our commitment with you.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have a, as you call it, a juicy topic tonight, and it's called the hidden masculine exclusion.
Hmm.
And this is a topic that all women should be listening to
Mm-hmm.
because we have the tendency to believe that we include the masculine, but in an energetic level, sometimes we don't. And so it is important to be aware of how am I excluding the masculine in my life.
And I don't know if what happened to me happened to you, but I was thinking that we exclude men. And oops, it's the masculine energy.
Yes, exactly. Besides that, and I would say, based on what I do see in family constellations therapy,
Mhm.
that I'm going to give a number here. And I would say that probably 97% of women exclude their men.
Well, I know I do. I definitely exclude my masculine
Whether,
energy.
yes, whether it is their father or whether it is their partner,
Hmm.
there is a lot of exclusion here. And so we want to see how that affects us all, how it affects our system and how it affects our life. And we are seeing here someone saying, thank you for your service. Thank you for being so present. Someone
Yes,
in
thank you.
Instagram, thank you so much. And we also have seen Sean. Sean is saying hi. She's in YouTube. She's in
Hello,
YouTube.
Sean.
Yes, hi, hello. Thank you for being present. We just opened our dating with your soul,
So,
our
yes,
soul.
yes.
Yes, and so welcome, welcome. We're gonna give it another couple of minutes.
Hmm.
I don't know if you wanna add something, Janet, to this topic.
Just,
You were going to say something. I have done it.
yes.
I
I'm sure I have.
have done it as well.
I'm
Yes.
sure I have.
Yeah. Maybe after we give this talk today, people will say, yes, I have done it too.
And the thing is, it's something that you don't even realize you're doing. You know
Yes.
what I mean? I
Mhm.
don't realize I'm excluding men.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't realize I'm excluding the masculine energy. And then I go, but why don't I do this? Why don't I do that?
Mhm.
That masculine energy has to be included.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So, how come women excluded men, let's say, or how the feminine decided to exclude the masculine energy? And of course, since we are talking about transgenerational work, because this all comes because of the transgenerational, it all started way before us. And what happened at certain point in history is that um, men took the power. Let's say men, the patriarch,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
decided to be take the power over the feminine. And don't, if you're going to ask, but why? It was just part of the cosmic plan. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just trust in that because it was accepted. It was part. What I usually say is that we accepted that contract or that agreement, soul agreement, at that point in history. So we could have certain experiences, but today we're getting to understand that none of them should have the power, but we are equal. Equal
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of we are just souls at service, and that we need both energies within, and we need to also learn how to honor and respect both energies outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And so that was just part of the plan of going through all the experiences that we women went through throughout history. And this one, of course, really affected psychologically. It is a psychologically affection because, of course, women at certain point didn't have the right to vote or to say anything. They were, let's say, excluded to be only the mother or the wife, but not really a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these, like, let's say, marriages, for example, that had to be fulfilled by the parents, but not because these women would say yes. It was because that was the time, and they will make the arrangements, and that was it. And all of these women went through a lot of pain. Maybe they didn't love this man. Maybe this man would treat these women badly, let's say, abuse them. And so all of those memories held in them secretly. Maybe they wouldn't say it, they wouldn't communicate that pain or that suffering because you weren't supposed to do it or say it because that was not how it's supposed to be. But that, let's say, anger, resentment, and sadness and frustration was held in the hearts of each of these women who couldn't do it differently because that was the structure of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this pain was held. So unconsciously, let's say, these women were acting as they were taught, right, by society, social, culturally, and religiously were taught on behaving in this way to be accepted. But they still were keeping this repression that they couldn't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So the question here is, where is that repression now?
Do you believe you're still carrying it?
Yes, we are still carrying that. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been able to be released because we haven't been able to acknowledge that memory. See, sometimes we accept not only from other men, but also from other women to somehow feel like I'm less than you. And that's, we were talking last week about how all of these memories affect the empowerment of
Mm-hmm.
women today. And so if you haven't seen that program, we invite you to see it in my channel, My Ariel Soul. And we have two channels, one in English and one in Spanish. And we spoke last week about that, how all of these memories affected the behavior and how we still are affected by that, and in an unconscious way. We don't see it consciously, but we don't understand why we accept certain
Mm-hmm.
things that somehow they are abusive. Mhm. And so what happens here is that women accepted that because they didn't have any other options back then, but silently they had this sort of rejection towards the masculine, and this sort of exclusion. I don't like you energetically. That's the only possible way to be a rebel, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say it, you wouldn't express it, but you were feeling it as a woman. See, I cannot say anything because that's my husband, because that's how it is, and that's how we are supposed to um, behave or do. But energetically, they had that sort of rejection. Hmm? And so what happens here is that that energy still is somehow being carried. And so today we see situations like this, and I see this very often in the sessions of family constellations. And it is that of, for example, this woman has this expectation about her partner, and maybe her partner couldn't fulfill those expectations. And when that doesn't happen, then this woman somehow doesn't communicate, because we were taught not to communicate or express what we were feeling, but we are holding that anger, that resentment, that rejection, all of those feelings and emotions that wake up with it, and that we don't know how to communicate, because that was part of how we were taught throughout history, that we are breaking finally today, right? But these somehow are still held within us, and they are affecting us in many ways. Mhm. So let's say that, for example, there is a couple here, and maybe this man abandoned this woman or betrayed this woman, and this woman still feels that anger. And so probably you would say, yes, I forgave my partner because what he did, and because we have children together. But energetically, you might not have done the whole process of forgiving 100%. And that's what we are here for,
Yes. Yes.
to talk about that, because it's so deep. And sometimes we, let's say, cover or lock those emotions or those feelings that we have, because we don't want to get there. Still, we, every day, if we haven't healed them, they come to us. They come to us and they speak to us, and we just deny them sometimes. It's like, no, no, no. I'm good with what happened. I passed on that page, but in reality, it's still pulsing within your heart, because your soul and the collective soul hasn't been able to be healed.
Yeah, because when you think about it, when you are betrayed or abandoned, those are very deep, deep wounds. And, sometimes we want to get rid of them.
And
I'm past,
humiliated
yeah,
also.
we want to get past them,
Mhm.
showing that we're strong and get past them. And what we're doing is we just getting past them superficially. Because for you to really heal, you really have to go into that raw pain, and feel every ounce of it.
Yes,
And that is not done quickly.
yes, it's a process.
It's a
That
process.
is a process. It is a process, and actually, when we do family constellations, we confront
Hmm.
um, that that we are really feeling.
Hmm.
See, we are put in that field of memories, and we are confronting our truth. And sometimes we are shocked to see how much you are rejecting the other energetically, and that you wouldn't think of. Because, see, the mind is, let's say, separated from our heart. And
And it's very sneaky.
yes, it gives, justifies things, and gives you excuses, and tells you, no, that's not how it is. This is how I feel. That's how I feel. But doesn't know anything about what you're
Mhm.
feeling. Your soul is the only one that can really tell you
Mhm.
how you are feeling.
Exactly.
And the
Yes.
only way to really see how you are feeling is by confronting your truth. And that's why we do this method of the family constellations, because we get to confront where we are emotionally, and where our soul is, and how we haven't been able to heal that, because we thought we had it, checklist, and that's it, but maybe not. Also, it is important to see something here. Sometimes we are carrying this from our ancestors.
Mhm.
So just see, for example, your mother and your father. How was that relationship? See, can you see that maybe mom used to complain about that? Because there is an exclusion already there, when the mother comes to tell the daughter, oh, is that your father this, or your father that, or that annoys me, or he doesn't do? Again, the expectations.
Mhm.
See? And so the mother somehow, when she does this, She is excluding that energy of the masculine because it's not fulfilling my expectations. And so we are here to bring this information for you so you can start like seeing where you are related to this. See, this is a topic that not many people talk about, for example. It's just maybe a different perspective, a different angle of the picture that we haven't maybe seen. See, we might say, no, no, I really want a partner. But if you haven't been able to maybe include your own father because your mother didn't include him, then you still haven't done the work.
Yes. And you have like a, I know for me, I was just disconnected, but I wasn't aware.
Yeah, no,
Like
we
I
are not
wasn't
aware.
aware that I was
We're not finding guilty
disconnected.
ones here. We just
Yeah.
want you to know what might be
Hmm.
what might be happening to you. Mhm.
Hmm.
Just for you to start like, oh, let me self-observe where I'm at related to my partner, related to my father. Why am I saying this? Because if the mother rejects or excludes the father, then the daughter or the son will exclude the father as well. If the mother hasn't included the father, the children are not allowed to include the father energy.
Hmm.
And this happens all energetically. See, maybe you can be living together and be in the same space, but the energy of exclusion still happening.
Hmm.
See, I have so many people say, yeah, but we live together. It doesn't really matter if you live together. The all of these feelings and all of these exclusions are happening within the same family system, living together or not. It's happening. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hmm.
Do you have anything to add to that, Janet?
I was gonna ask, did you ever hear the saying what it says? If you have a good relationship with your dad, you'll have a good relationship in marriage.
Yes. Yes, Janet.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Definitely, yes. That's a great saying that you just brought quote that you just brought here. Because yes, if you haven't healed your relationship with your father, then you will be having issues having a love relationship or finding one that could
Hmm.
be healthy.
Hmm.
That could be healthy. Why is that? Because maybe your mother hasn't been able to forgive um, her husband, which means your father, because what he did, let's say.
Hmm.
I don't know what he did. You might know what he did. But that thing that he didn't do as he was expected is a sort of exclusion. So let's say if you're a daughter and you see that your mother is excluding the energy of the father, let's say because the father betrayed or was had infidelity in the system, then this daughter will find a man also that will do the same, will betray the same. And this is a double loyalty, unconscious loyalty, of course. We're talking about invisible loyalties here, right? This daughter will find a man who
Hmm.
will betray her just to do it like her mother and to say, I'm loyal to you, mom, and I agree, men betray.
Yes.
And I agree that you are just like my dad, you betray. See? So that's how it happens, Janet. Isn't
Hmm.
that insane?
Yes.
Isn't that insane? And energetically, somehow we keep carrying the some sort of um, memories because those are unresolved memories from our ancestors, from of our ancestral system and family system. And we are here, of course, to tell you all of this because we want you to have a different observation and a different perspective. And also by knowing this, maybe you can start checking on your own memories. What do you see?
Hmm.
What do you see? Don't see only your present. Maybe see what has happened to you with your relationships, whether you are a man or a woman. See how your relationships have been. What is the tendency? Is it betrayal? Is it abandonment? Is it rejection? Is it humiliation? Is it abuse? What has been the tendency in your relationships? Let's begin by that. Because you're repeating because you're being loyal to something that is from before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're being loyal to maybe what your mother or your grandma did.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to heal that. That's the only way to change it, by first
Yeah,
of all
we have.
acknowledging our truth,
Mm-hmm.
because that is our truth. That's part of the information that we are carrying. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot just say, okay, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I cannot just say with my mind and with how I want it. No, we need to heal it in a deeper level. We need to confront that truth. And that's why we do family constellations work, because it goes deeply into your soul, not just in the understanding that you have to liberate that, because that's not going to work like that.
It comes from the heart. It's from your emotions. You feel all the emotions there. Comes from the heart, and
Mhm.
then you are able to give yourself pure love through that family constellation. But it's so important because you feel all the emotion, and that's how you heal when you
Yes.
connect to your soul and to your emotions.
Mhm. And so I want to give you another the perspective of the masculine.
Mhm.
Yes, because for example, let's say men were learning from men. So maybe these men were learning that, okay, all men should do this. And if you don't do it like that, you're not being a man. And so maybe our masculine ancestors learned from their ancestors to do it just as all the masculine lineage or
Mhm.
all the masculines were doing in the system. And so saying that it was learned.
Yes.
And so, see, we are here
Yeah.
judging something, but we're not seeing the other side. What is the perspective of the masculine? Why did he repeated that pattern of infidelity or
You know,
abandonment?
like why?
Why? Exactly, because they are carrying the same memories as we are all carrying. And if we judge or we deny or we don't like it, we exclude, then the same energy keeps moving down the road.
So what you resist persists.
What you resist persists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they had to do it. That was the next right step for them.
Yes.
Even though we might not understand it, that was a necessity.
Yes, yes, exactly. Many men didn't even want to do it, but they ended up doing it because of the pressure. It's like a pressure they had to go through also.
Hmm.
And that's how it was. We are changing that today by acknowledging this and by saying, oh, I see I'm carrying the memories of my ancestors. I'm being loyal to that. If I'm a man, I could say, I did it, I have done it, and now I can see the root of it because it has a root. The root of conflict didn't start, yesterday or with your parents. It started way
Way
before
before.
that.
Hmm.
Yes, so we want to acknowledge that and we can see them maybe with more compassion and say,
Absolutely.
I see you.
Yeah.
I see you learned that. I see you couldn't do it differently.
And that's the key one.
Yes,
I see you
couldn't
couldn't
do
do
it
it
differently.
differently.
I see you did it, and now you're showing me something that I accepted as well from my mom, from my grandma. And because we are all healing this, we finally get to see each other.
From a pure love.
Yes, unconditionally.
Yeah.
It was part of the plan.
It was part of the plan. Yes.
It was part of the plan. So
Hmm.
today in history, in this process of evolution,
Hmm.
where we are changing and evolving towards the new consciousness, we will be able to heal it if we get to acknowledge this and to embrace our past.
Hmm.
It was as it was. And those memories pulse in our DNA, in our genetic information, because that's part of our information. We cannot just deny it. We cannot just remove it or go to the doctor and say, listen, doctor, can you remove these memories from my epigenetics because I don't like them and I don't want to experience that again?
I know, right?
That'd be so easy, right?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But not fun, because this is the fun part, even though it hurts sometimes, but most of the time.
Most of the time it hurts. Yes, yes,
But
yes.
we learn so much, and we become such the best version of ourselves as we go through those experiences.
Yes,
And you will see
definitely.
that.
So I want to share just the best story I know here. And it is, of course, mine. um, I was, or one of the memories that I got to acknowledge in my life, very late in life, because I'm 51 now, and in my 40s, I was still going through relationships that ended up in abandonment and betrayal. And back then, maybe years ago, I just thought that that was life, that that was my destiny, that I had bad luck, that I don't know, I just didn't even question why that was happening in my life. But of course, when at certain point in my life, there was one story that really kicked me, right? It knocked me down, of course, because I was pregnant, and this is a different situation, different than when you don't, it's different when you're single and you don't have a baby, that the situation happened and you split and you say, okay, that's okay. Something else is going to come, right? But when there is a baby involved, then things change. And well, I was pregnant, and of course, since I had a repetitive pattern of abandonment, well, guess what? The father of my child wasn't present. Hmm? And of course, that really was my turning point. It really knocked me down. I went all the way to the bottom. And when I was in that state of unconsciousness, feeling not only abandoned, but I was angry, and I felt resentment. I was like, why did that happen to me? And why did he abandon me in this situation? So that was my judgment. That was my perspective back then. But I couldn't understand that he was just showing me something that was not all. I mean, he has his own things to resolve as well, to solve, because otherwise he wouldn't have done it, right? And I had also my issues that I hadn't seen before this happened. That's why I went through it. Hmm? And at that moment, I was rejecting him. I had, anger towards him, and I had resentment towards him because I thought what he did I couldn't understand, and that no one should be doing that. But I hadn't turned around to see the story of my family system, mom and dad. And then I found the memory of abandonment, of course, because dad left when I was 8 months old. And then mom stayed with me. So the abandonment was already, it happened. It's a memory that I was carrying. But my mother also was carrying a sort of a memory of rejection with her mother, with my grandma. So I was just tracing to find where do these memories come from. And I also got to realize how grandma used to reject grandpa because of what grandpa would do. She didn't like him because they were married. They never separated. They never got divorced. But grandma had this anger towards men because men, let's say grandpa would take the money and go gambling and waste all the money on that, and she couldn't save money. She couldn't have an account because back then women couldn't have an account. So all of that resentment somehow awoke in me. So I was feeling the same sort of feelings of anger and resentment that she used to feel when that happened. So she had excluded my grandpa, and I was excluding this man as well. And my mother, of course, was healing that abandonment of my father. So, see, the memory of betrayal and abandonment were so pulsing. And this man was just coming into my life to show me everything that was in me that I hadn't been able to see.
So he did a real good job.
Oh, he did a really good job, Janet. It was painful, but I got to see it all.
Yeah. And look who have you become now, thanks to him, thanks
Oh
to
my
that
God, yes,
experience.
I honor him and his presence and everything that happened. I'm so thankful that I got to see it. And I didn't get to see it right away, Jen.
Right, yeah.
Of course, it took
We
me,
need to go to the grieving and,
of course,
and
to
do
the
it on.
drama
We
and
don't
to the
like them.
victimization and
That's what makes
to,
it fun.
yes, that's the fun part, of course. I had to go through all of it to finally, at
The
certain
ugly
point,
cry, what I like calling the ugly
the
cry.
ugly cry and all of it, and the hating, I hate you, I hate everything,
Poor me.
I
Oh
got
my.
sick, actually, all of that took me to a disease. It was just a mess. Yes, until I said, okay, I need help. At certain point, I would say, okay, I'm tired of being in this state, and I cannot just see the exit. And that's when I decided to look for help. And yes, I did a lot of other modalities of healing until I got to family constellations and I could confront my truth and see how this man that I was rejecting actually was the one who was showing me when I needed to heal.
Yeah,
And so I got to
exactly.
include him with compassion because I can see that he's also carrying memories of what he learned.
Hmm.
He cannot change what he's carrying because he hasn't seen that yet. He still might not being able to see it. See, but it's okay. I'm okay with him not being able to see that, as long as I get to see what it was for.
It's so interesting because, betrayal, abandonment, we both gone through that.
Yes.
And for us to both sit and go, we honor them for doing that. Like, when I first said it, I'm like, Maya, I am so grateful to him. And then I'm like, with all the hell I went through, I am so grateful to him or her, or her, or
Mhm.
different relationships. It doesn't have to only be like in partnership or marriage. It could be other
Any
relationships
relationship that is showing you
that is
that
showing you something. Yes.
is just a gift. It's a blessing to show you what you must heal. And of course, you don't need to stay there,
Yeah.
but you can appreciate what it was for and how it can serve you. Because, for example, in this case, this is the father of my child. And if I reject this man and I exclude this man, then guess what? There is a part of my son that I'm excluding because my son is not just 100% Maya's. It's
Right.
Maya's and his father, Diego. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
And so my son unconsciously and energetically has the tendency to reject that part of the father that mom was excluding. See how it works?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important for us women to see how this exclusion can affect not only you, but your children.
Exactly. Yes, it is because like that, then we make sure that we include them because the child needs that aspect of the dad.
Yes. Because that aspect belongs to that child.
Yes.
And because that father belongs to that system.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who was there that affected the system is part of it. It belongs. So if this file hasn't been included, then more of the same sort of experiences are going to continue happening. Maybe your son will do it the same as the father did.
It will continue happening until you embrace it and include it.
Yes, and we don't want more of that
We don't
unconsciousness.
want, we don't want that to happen to our kids, right?
Beyond that our children, we want to heal the system of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you can change that. You can be the one generating that change by just acknowledging and embracing and integrating those memories. And so, and integrating the destiny as it was, saying it was as it was, and I honor it because what happened between you, mom, and dad, it doesn't really matter what happened or how it was or how it happened between grandma and grandpa. If they didn't meet, then I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe at this point, I'm here to heal that. And I can serve myself and the whole system and the system of life by acknowledging and including and liberating this.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So it's a process.
It is.
It is a process. But I wanted to give you both perspectives, the feminine and the masculine, why the feminine excluded the masculine and why the masculine did what he did, because it was what it happened. And also, it happens the other way too. I have seen men who kept the children, who keep
Mm-hmm.
the children, and because women betray.
Mm-hmm.
So, where did these women learn to betray? Like today, oh my gosh, this is something. Today, I found, well, I met this woman, and she was going to a place. I'm not going to say the whole details, but she was going to a place, and her son was in the back of the car, and she was with a friend. And then, so I told her, oh, no, we cannot help you because of this or that. You're going to have to buy that ticket. And then she said, no, I'm not going to buy it. And then the son said something like, because you always lie. And I was like, and I was like, oh my gosh. Of course, I'm seeing here with the therapeutic eyes. It's like, oh my God, this child learned to lie from her mother. And he's that is a way of saying it's okay to lie. See?
Yeah.
And so, see, we will have to see what happened, beyond that, but that's already speaking.
Yeah.
See, everything is speaking in life. So, what is that telling you? Hmm? And so those energies of betrayal and abandonment and humiliations that come from the transgenerational are still affecting us. And we have the tendency to exclude the ones who do it to us,
Right.
right? The tendency to exclude the ones who do it to us. But actually, it is that you do that to yourself
Right.
because you want to change that.
And you want to live that experience.
Yeah, and you want to change it. That's why you choose to live it, to experience it, because you are ready to change it. And the only way for you to change it is to experience
Live the
that first
experience.
and
Yeah.
say, I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. I want to change this. And then including this person who came to show you that, and turn around, see your family system and show and see what is showing you that you must heal.
Yes. You set it up to be triggered.
Yes. Oh my God. And we need to read a little bit of this
Oh,
book.
yes, yeah. Tell
Yes.
us about the book.
Okay. So
Buy
we
the book.
buy the book, by the way. If you haven't, you can find it in our website, alchemyforthesoul.link, or in Amazon. And we are working on step number 1, which is the inclusion. And that's why we are talking about the inclusion of the masculine today. Because, as my shirt says, I belong, you belong, we all belong.
Yes, yes,
No
yes.
matter what we did, no matter how we think, no matter what we practice, no matter what it is, we
No
all
matter where we're from, we
we
all belong.
belong to a family system and to the system of life and to a system that goes beyond. Beyond, we can imagine we're not gonna talk about that, but we all belong. So we are on page number 88 for the ones following. And let's talk a little bit about that. Um okay, let me see what I'm here. In many cases, I have attended in constellations work. I have noticed that women tend to victimize themselves and to blame men for their unhappiness.
We did a good job at it too.
Yes, exactly. So just look at yourself. Have you done it? Because I have done
I know I have.
it. See? So this is it. When men do that to us, then we say, it was him, it wasn't me. See, I have to tend the tendency to point out there, but no, here.
Mhm.
And so we're saying this because instead of doing that, just turn your finger
No
and
matter
then,
how hard it is,
yeah, no matter how hard it is,
turn it.
and then turn it and look at yourself. That's very important because then we become the victims. Oh, poor me. this man did this to me. And out there in society, there is a lot of that happening. And also at this time in history, lots of men are carrying a lot of abuse from women now because the things switch, right? And as we can see in the case of Johnny Depp and Deep and West
Amber?
and Amber Heard, yes, see, is that it switched. Hmm?
Yeah.
And then she wanted to victimize herself and blame him for that. See? And we're not seeing that that what she's showing us is amazing. They actually came out to the light because all secrets and everything that is unconscious is coming out to the light to show us where we are.
Wow. All I can say is wow.
Yes. So none of what you see there is just because of them or it happened just to that relationship. No, it happens to all of us.
The fact that we were seeing it, that means we were involved somehow.
Yes, and then yeah, that set of victimization is that you make me unhappy, and the other one is not here to make you happy.
Right.
You should be make yourself happy, right? If you're
Mhm.
not there, that means that you haven't conquered yourself.
Like they say, know thyself. That
Yes.
is the key to happiness.
Yes, and because you also, as a woman, you have a masculine, and all masculines have a feminine. So our job, if you decided to be born a woman, is to conquer your masculine energy. And if you want a healthy relationship with a man, then you better take care of your own masculine. And that begins by healing your relationship with your father.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes, all right. So it says this. This is a form of when we talk about the victimization and the blaming, this is a form of energetic exclusion that is almost imperceptible. See, we are saying this because we don't tend to see that or we make ourselves blind to it. Hmm? If we see this from another angle, blaming others is also an act of aggression. So, when we judge the other one and we blame the other one, we become the perpetrator.
I never liked it, that word.
I know, Janet, but we do become the
I have
perpetrator.
learned to include it,
Yes,
but that was a toughie one for me, I will say.
yes.
Because I like
So,
feeling like Miss Goody Two Shoes. And they calling me a perpetrator,
there
but
you go. Because you like being the victim better than the perpetrator, right?
hmm
So, when this energy in this dynamic that you don't want to see,
hmm
then instead of you being the victim, you become the perpetrator. You're wrong, I'm right.
Right.
Right? Hmm. So the victim becomes a passive aggressor. Hmm. What this person doesn't see is that the rejection she feels towards the other is showing a form of self rejection. Yes.
That's a deep breath one.
Yes, because you are self rejecting a part of you, which is your masculine, that I'm sure is connected to your father. So you're rejecting something within you that is about your father, and you're thinking that is the others, the other men, for example, or women that are too masculine, and you have the tendency to feel that is the other, not you. Hmm? Make sense? This is like a whole dynamic that happens in our psychology, in our psyche. It says here, she has not seen that the rejection is something she must heal within. Also, that the other was involved in any way because she accepted that. So we become the victim, but as we said before, we accepted that experience way before even knowing that person.
That's true.
The soul agreement comes from before even coming here and incarnating on earth. So it was an agreement, it was a contract, a soul contract, let's say, that is being fulfilled. Hmm? Otherwise, nothing relevant would have happened between the two people. See, so it is a soul agreement. If you didn't have that agreement, you wouldn't have had that sort of relationship or experience with that person. And Christine is saying, question, what about being with a narcissist?
Mm.
Very good question, Christine. So why did you accept it, a narcissist in your life?
Mhm.
What is that person telling you?
What is that person showing you about
Showing you
you
about you and your family
and
system.
your family system? Yes.
Because if you decided to participate in this relationship, there's something that must be healed.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not loving yourself, that you're accepting that. And at the same time, that it might come from before, maybe from someone in the system that acted out somehow like that. And that no one got to heal. And maybe this narcissist is being excluded. So it shows again in your life. It's as simple as that. What you resist, persist again.
Mm-hmm.
See? And of course, once you get to see this from these new eyes, this new vision, then you get to change it saying, oh, you just came to show me that. Thank you. Now I see what it is and what it is for. Let me see what I can do to change it. Thank you so much. I honor you no matter how it was the experience was. Thank you for what you showed me. I take 50% of the responsibility of what happened between you and I. And I leave you with your part.
Mm-hmm.
You can heal it whenever you're ready. I'm healing my part. I'm taking responsibility for my part.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you begin the process of transformation and healing and
And,
transcendence.
and empowerment for you as a woman.
Also. Mhm. Loyalty. He actually saved my life. Yes, it's a loyalty, it's an invisible loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a blessing at the same time. It's not fun when you're going through the
No.
experience, and I know it's not fun, but just know that if you're going through a difficult moment today in your life, then it's a good moment to stop and
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 observe.
observe and
Yes.
witness your situation. Put yourself out of the scene and say, well, what is this showing me and why am I accepting it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Okay. So, as said before, if there are children involved in this relationship, this energetic rejection is also reflected in the children who immediately reject in themselves what the mother rejects in the father. This rejection can even affect their health. This is the case of autoimmune diseases. See, the child says, I don't love myself because my mother doesn't like the part of my father that is in me. I need to kill that part.
Mm-hmm.
And then these children recreate in their bodies or bring into their bodies the energy of disease.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm trying to kill a part that my mom doesn't accept or doesn't like about my dad and is within me.
That's very profound because those are the beginning stages of illnesses
Yes.
that we create because we're living and we're trying to heal this experience that we have been bringing along. And boom,
Mhm.
here you come
Yes.
to be triggered and
Yes.
to start that beautiful healing process.
Yes. And in this case that we're talking about today, the work that must be done is the inclusion.
Inclusion. That is the magical word.
That is the magical word.
Yes.
Word. You belong. You belong.
So isn't that a
I
beautiful?
belong. You belong. We all
We
belong.
all love belonging, I'm sure.
Yes. 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 We all because that's our nature.
That is our nature.
That is
Yes.
our true nature.
Yes.
So when we know that we belong, then when we feel like we're being rejected of the unity that we are, then something is not right. I need to
Right.
show them that I belong somehow, even though I do these crazy things or unconscious things. See?
Mm-hmm.
So let me clean my nose. Yes. Okay. So let's see what it says. As as you can see, this can create emotions that can be very damaging to all. Women who remained silent lived with a lot of pain and suffering. Yes, if you haven't been able to heal that repression, that anger, that resentment, we invite you to take the step and do that for your own self and for all the system, because everybody's feeling that energy, even though you're not showing it or you want to
Right.
keep it to yourself. This form an unconscious revenge, and I'm going to talk about this one because this is very interesting. When you're feeling those emotions that are misaligned from the consciousness of love, these form an unconscious revenge that our women ancestors weren't aware of, and the descendants are still doing it the same.
Mm-hmm.
So women beware of believing that only the mother is necessary. Hmm. I'm going to repeat this because so many women think that, oh, the mother is the most important. And no, both energies are equally
Important.
important. Bottom line. When we deny the father of our children, we leave them without the strength that they need to go out into the world and feel complete. So if we exclude the masculine energy, our children don't feel complete. Yes, yes. When the mother rejects the father, the child doesn't grow emotionally and remains trapped or energetically dependent and loyal to his or her mother, which eventually can create future issues as an adult in his or her relationships. So when the mother rejects the father, it's like saying, um, I'm the only one you can trust in. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot trust in anybody because the father represents the others.
Mm-hmm.
See, and the first connection is with the mother. So the child is that if mom says no, then I shouldn't go there. So if mom says yes, this is your father, you have my blessing to love him, then the
Yes.
child can take the others and love the others and trust in the others.
Yes.
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 So that's how the energy goes when
So
this is all
essential.
energy. That's all.
Yes.
And it is important to see this perspective. If it resonates with you and you haven't done this part of the work, we invite you to constellate,
Yes.
to
Embrace it.
constellate and
Yes.
embrace this movement within you. To reclaim our value as women, we must accept the destiny of our ancestors, including the male or the masculine who also followed repetitive patterns from their ancestors. We must also self acknowledge ourselves and recognize ourselves as part of the and as part of the consciousness of the totality to be able to integrate both forces within the masculine and the feminine. The balance between these two energies brings a powerful force that boosts love, creativity, and action in everyone's life. Yes. So there are two energies that keep life moving.
Mm-hmm.
One is the feminine and one is the masculine. See, and then the feminine, of course, is that connection, that love, that security.
Yes.
But the father has the energy of the strength and the movement and the action. And so if this child doesn't have that energy or you don't have that energy because you haven't included your father yet, then you're lacking something,
Yeah.
like you're like limping. You're still trapped in the energy of the mother, and you might have a lot of beautiful ideas and this and that, but you are not a doer.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
just a dreamer, and a dreamer doesn't conquer anything because stays in the dreamer state. And maybe you're missing that part of your father to be able to take it all, feel complete, and then move on towards what you came to do,
Okay.
to
Yeah.
your purpose.
Give it back to the world.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So
That was
beautiful.
good.
Yes, yes. I so love sharing this with you. And for whoever resonates and understands this, you are ready to listen to
Yes.
this, you
And we
know.
so thank you for you joining us. Definitely thank you. Please, if you like, hit the like, share with anybody that you feel that will resonate. Talk
Yes.
about this with your friends, with your family. Just bring it out there to people. It's so important for people to get to know. Buy the book. What's the book?
Yes, of
Buy
course.
the
Buy the
book.
book Alchemy for the Soul, that link, or
And also
Amazon.
tell them about your class. It's going to be
Oh
starting.
yes, my God, of course. If you want to go deeper, doing this soul work, soul journey of healing, we are starting our training program on family constellations where you will be able to do your own process as well as you will be trained to facilitate others afterwards. So we are starting on July 3rd, the weekend of July
Second and third.
2nd and 3rd. And if is that second? Yes, 2nd and 3rd. And we still have some spots left. So if you feel like you feel ready to take or
It's
to dive
calling you.
into
It's
it,
calling you.
if it is your call and you want to answer the call, welcome. There is a server here that can guide you throughout all of those ups and downs and your valleys, and not even your valleys. Those are no valleys. Those are
With
really,
understanding.
yes, those are actually, we will be diving deep into the
Yeah.
ocean of your unconsciousness.
Yes.
It's not even a valley. It goes very deep into the abyss. Is that how it's
Yeah.
called? The abyss of your
The abyss. Yeah.
unconsciousness.
Hmm.
Yes. So if you feel ready, I am ready for you to come and join us, of course. So
And if you know anyone that you believe will resonate, definitely have them, look at the site and
yes, you can go to
call.
systemichealinginstitute.com. Again, systemichealinginstitute.com. And we have there all the dates and the modules. There are 8 modules. And we meet once a month, one weekend every month
Mhm.
of every month, once a month. And the price, everything is there. If you want to register, you can just go click in that button, and we will be so happy to have you here.
Yes, we definitely
Yes,
will.
yes, yes,
So,
yes. So it was a pleasure as always,
yes, it
Janet. Thank
was.
you for
Thank
your
you.
company
Yeah.
and for all of your
I learned
share.
so much here. I sit next up, but I learned a lot. Let me tell you. I'm always so excited. What are we going to talk about today?
Yes. So thank you for being so present, Janet,
Yeah.
especially today that my voice is like I'm trying
A little
to,
scratchy,
yeah, a
right?
little
But
scratchy, but that's
it
okay.
was great. We everybody understood you really well.
I
I
hope
love it.
so.
You sounded really
Maybe
great.
you did, but maybe the other ones didn't.
So definitely hit the like, share.
Yes,
If you know anybody that will be interested in the class, please have them look at the website. They can also call Maya.
yes,
Just
yes,
we all need to do our due diligence to bring this out to the world. So we thank you for being with us here, holding space with us here, and joining us as servant to bring this out to the world.
yes. And if you see yourself, or if you see a friend of yours, because this is the case, have you heard your friend telling you stories about my boyfriend
Mhm.
or my ex partner that didn't do this, that didn't do that? Share this video. It's gonna serve
Yes.
them well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we need them to acknowledge their truth, and if they are ready to take the steps of inclusion.
And
Yes.
especially for men. So, because we, it's important to have that compassion for them.
Yes.
And so when they see them, they get to understand a little bit of why they did it.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
Also. Yes, all right. Well,
All right.
that's
Well,
our
thank
that
you.
was our sharing. Thank you
Yes.
so much for being so present, and we send you
We
love.
say, yeah, we say good morning, good night, or good evening.
Yes. We send you love
Lots of love.
and healing and blessings, and we hope to see you next week
Next
here
week,
at
7,
8 p.m.
8 p.m.,
again.
same time, same channel. And don't
Yes,
forget
yes.
to
Buy the book.
buy the book.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys. I
Bye
will see you
bye.
next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.